It's running late here on 88.3 FM, The Sting, and several years ago, I've just discovered how long it is now. It must be more than what I think, but amazing how fast time goes by. I managed to sneak backstage after the Bodeans played at the House of Blues and introduce myself and really get caught up because I'd followed the band through so many things, through all the early albums, and then some really cool guest appearances on, I think, Robbie Robertson's work and all this other kind of fun stuff. And I always had a real great respect for the songwriting and just how much they meant to everybody and wanted to feature their music. And all the way through the last couple of recent years, through a couple of the more recent records like Mr. Sad Clown and Still. And Kurt is on the leadership of the band now. Sam taking a leave to go do his solo work, and Kurt decided to carry the name of the band going on. Has been doing a fabulous job, and I'm so thrilled to have them coming back to play Music Box. What a great venue for a great band. Kurt, thanks so much for calling, and welcome back to Cleveland, sir.
Yeah, it's good to be here, rock and roll town.
We're looking forward to this show coming up. You're out all over the East Coast this week, and I actually saw your cool little post there on Facebook. You and your drummer Kenny Arnoft doing some very interesting little comments about coming to Cleveland. Get ready, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, driving in between towns, you do a lot of driving when you're out on tour, and getting ready to come into Cleveland and maybe stop by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, things like that.
We look forward to it. It's always a good time at the Rock Hall, that's for sure. This latest record, American Made, man, it's some pretty powerful stuff. Obviously, this is the first time you're leading the band by yourself here, but it's been a couple of years, and this record has become kind of a mainstay in the last few. I know it came out about 2012, I believe, but I'm just kind of rediscovering it for you coming to the show, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, well, it translates really well to the show. That's what's nice about it, and that music was kind of worked on that way. These days, a lot of people put records together in the studio, but that was a record that we worked on really as far as what works performing live well, and we tracked it that way and recorded it that way. So it's a record that easily translates to the live setting, and it's pretty high energy, and it's really kind of a celebration of American music. I mean, that whole blend of rock and blues and country and everything kind of mashed together into one sound.
The thing I really love about this, I guess I'm calling it a trend in the bands that I'm featuring, is more and more bands are actually playing in an environment with each other, getting that vibe, trying to capture the live element and all those kind of fun things. I don't know if it's a trend per se, but it sounds like it's a want, it's a need for the musicians these days.
Yeah, well, I think some bands are. Unfortunately, I think what's popular music is not doing that at all. It's just, they've gotten about as far away from that as you can get. But you do see some of the bands still trying to put an emphasis on that. It's just, from where I started playing music to where it is now, the idea of performing music seems to have really kind of died away. So sometimes when we're out here playing, it feels like we're kind of fighting a war, to keep the idea of being able to perform your music honestly and well is a dying art. So that's what we focus on, is just giving people a show of real people playing real music as opposed to what you kind of see on TV these days where it's not so real.
Fair enough. Of course, getting the music out there has been a little more difficult of sorts. I know radio formats have obviously tightened, and radio in general has become, kind of second guesser to streaming and all these other kind of outlets and whatnot. But I always keep saying that, really the best product out there right now is performance. It's actually being out there and seeing a band on stage.
Yeah, to me, it's a real magical thing. Magic happens between a performer and an audience when they come together in a house and create this energy. To me, magic is the only word I've ever found that really describes that event. And I was always really attracted to that. I never saw myself as, the thing creating it. It's always between you and your audience that creates it. And to me, that's what rock and roll was about. It was those beautiful moments when you're performing and someone's getting it and they're singing with you and you have this whole house kind of rocking together. That's a really beautiful thing.
I know you did Homebrewed a couple years back, which was kind of like the big, I think it was an anniversary celebration in your hometown up there, and doing those kind of live recordings. But is that something you've ever ventured for? That I know a lot of bands are like recording every night and making it available as a jump drive on your way out the door. I don't know. Some bands, justify that. Others kind of run away. I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are on that.
Well, we released a double live record last year or something like that. It was called Amped Across America, and what we did was I recorded shows from all across the country, from Seattle to Minneapolis to Annapolis, Maryland, all these different, from clubs to big giant outdoor places, and I just kind of put a whole double live record of all these different size venues and rooms together. I thought that was a better way of doing it, because you really give people the best product you can that way, as far as, your very best performances, and in all different size rooms and venues. To me, that makes for a better listening experience, compared to if the stereo live every night recordings tend to not be of that great recording. It's real hit or miss, and whether you get a good recording that way. The best way to get a good recording is to record everything on separate tracks and take it to a studio and really listen and mix stuff. And if you can't do that, then it can be a little bit dicey, and then I think people lose faith in it a little bit, because it doesn't sound great, and I think the audience deserves something that sounds great. So that's the way we do it.
Amen to that. The audience deserves something that sounds great. Boy, that's a rare thing to hear these days.
Yeah. Well,
you have to admit.
That's my belief.
That's fabulous. Well, you've taken on this kind of new great presence. I mean, the website was so informative. I was just trying to play catch up, get informed, from this thing, and I was like, wow, they really have pretty much everything that's ever been touched by the Bodeans up here, which I just, really appreciate more beyond anything else. But I saw the store was fully stocked with all these kind of creative things and creative outlets. Do you find that's, the interactivity is helpful for you guys? I know some older bands, it's 50-50, hit or miss, that the internet now becomes the conduit sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm really a non-internet person. I mean, I don't really do any social networking. I need help from my management and from my family and people like that if I'm going to make a post or something like that, because I am completely not a Facebook savvy person or a Twitter person. But I think you're right about if you are using that as a tool to promote your band, it can be pretty useful. It's just that the only thing that makes me a little nervous is I'm not real sure that the information out there is real accurate. And these days, as much as people just say whatever they want to say, and that makes me a little nervous about it, because you don't know if you're really hearing truth or just some idle gossip about stuff. And I would prefer, it was a little more honest, but I don't see any way to make that happen, really. So you just live with it and you do the best you can.
Well, we're in probably part of that cycle where you're probably getting ready and thinking beyond this tour. I don't know if you write on the road or try to record on the road. That's boy, I'm jealous of you. I can imagine trying to do that. But I guess I'm leading to, what's the future for the Bodeans after this set of dates? Is there a new album on the way, or some stuff already in the can? I don't know. What's the status of that?
Yeah, it's the record's just about completely done. It's going to be out in mid-February. The record's called I Can't Stop, and it's great. Again, it's a pretty high-energy record. I haven't been in the mood to record one of those very sparse, down, sad kind of records. So this one, again, is pretty up-tempo and pretty rockin' and a fun record. I just think I'd prefer to go out and play that kind of stuff. So it'll be out in February.
Fantastic. Right when the winter hits, too. We need all the upbeat music we can get.
Yeah, well, it'll be good for going into next summer when we come back around. It's fun stuff.
And there's a promise I'll hold you to. Fantastic stuff. Kurt Neumann, the Bodeans. Where can we find that website? That's Bodeans.com, correct?
Yeah, Bodeans.com. And, I suppose we're up on the Facebook and all that kind of stuff as well.
Very, very cool. The Bodeans are coming to town. They're playing Music Box on the 8th. Coming up next week, and we very much look forward to having them back in town playing for us once again. Kurt, thanks so much for taking the time and all the music over the years.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks to all the fans for all these years for just kind of sticking with it, being part of it. It's like I was saying earlier, it's a beautiful thing when your audience and the bands are able to work together and they really appreciate each other.